Welcome back, Alpha Hunters. In this demonstration, I'm going to show you what free resource to use to find gapping stocks, analyze the gap, and what kinds of things to consider in setting up a trade. See you on the green side. There are thousands of stocks that are listed on tradable exchanges, and most of those stocks are not going to move that much to make it worth our time. We, as traders, are looking for stocks that will have volatility. Volatility in a stock simply means it will have a larger price swing than the norm. One very reliable way to find stocks that are expected to have volatility is gapping stocks. Gapping stocks have a much larger likelihood to have the moves intraday that traders are looking for. And all that gapping means is the open is different from the previous close. This can happen for any number of reasons, such as earnings release, news headlines, lawsuits, etc. So how do we find these stocks that are gapping? And how do we set up a plan to make money? That is what we are going to do a bunch today. I'm going to show a free resource anybody can use to find gapping stocks, and then I will analyze the gap of the stock. There will be plenty of gaps, but we want to find ones that are setting up with predictable moves. So let's get into it. So first, we want to have some guidelines of what kind of things we're looking for in gapping stocks. Okay? So one of the first things I like to do is check the market, check the SPY, see if it's going to open different from where it closed yesterday. Next, we want to look for stocks that are gapping more than 2% to the upside or downside. If the SPY is making a big move early, then adjust your criteria for what you're looking. If the SPY is down 2%, you can expect most of the stocks are going to be down somewhere around the 2% range as well. So we don't want to be taking into account a lot of the stocks, maybe like around the 2% area. Volume over a 10-day average, I like a 750,000. But 500,000 is okay, but that's usually my minimum for a perfect gap. But I like sticking over 750,000. Gapping onto the other side of a pivot point with recent opposite action. So this is kind of crucial. This lets you know if people are trapped or not, and I'll kind of mention that in the video, and especially like what to look out for on pivot points. But if we get some bearish action before a bullish gap, that's the kind of stuff we're looking for. And lastly, and this one's really hard for newer traders, as they're usually wanting to trade, but don't look for a reason to trade because you're always going to find one. So let's go ahead and get to looking over at barchart.com and TradingView. Okay, so here we are on barchart.com, and what we are going to be looking at today is this gap up, gap down. Now, if you don't know how to get there, you don't have the link saved or whatever, say you're just here on the home screen, just come under stocks and then scroll and then come down to performance leaders area and then gap up, gap down. And that's where you need to get to get this list popping up. Now, this is a free service or free data that they allow. If you want to pay and have like a little bit more customization to it, you can do that. But the thing I want you to know is this data does not start to update until 9 a.m. Eastern, which is 30 minutes before the market open. Okay, so don't get in here, at 35 minutes before market open and be like, why does the data look like it's from yesterday? Because it was from yesterday. So don't worry about that. But just get an understanding of what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking a look at stocks in this list, coming back over to TradingView, inputting the stock, bringing up the stock, and seeing where the gap is, and what kind of support and resistance we can see that it's going above or below, and just kind of get an idea of is it going to work for us to trade today? Okay, so I believe that some of these are new for the day. Okay. So Axion Enterprises, we will look at this first one. So we will just go down the list. Now there would be some that maybe we don't look at. That's okay. What's kind of good to note when you start out doing this is right over here, you see this is the SPY, the SPY. So this is pretty much the ETF that tracks the S&P 500. So let's kind of lets you know what the market is doing. Now we are in a bull trend, so it's kind of hard to be bearish on some stocks, but we'll look at some gap down stocks. But here we see the market actually is gapping down a little bit. So if we go to an intraday, so this non-shaded area, this is what the market did yesterday during the day. This shaded area is what it did yesterday after the market closed. And then this lighter, or like gold kind of shaded area, this is what the market has done this morning and where it's currently at. So obviously this is where the market closed yesterday, and we are currently below that. Okay, so I would say typically that's kind of a good reminder or just a good note. Say, hey, the market's down. Maybe we should look for some bearish type stocks or gapping stocks that are gapping down. That might be more opportunistic. And we'll see. We'll see if there's some good plays out there. But typically, I do like. I mean, it's kind of hard to kind of go against the trend, that longer term trend. If you've been doing this a while, you kind of do see that things get bought up pretty quick. So let's look at the first one, Axon here. Okay, it looks like it finally updated, actually. Maybe not. But might have one pertaining. Okay. The thing about gaps is we want to make sure it meets a 10-day minimum volume of at least, a lot of people say at least 500,000. I like to say at least 750,000, but it's kind of up to you. 500,000 is the bare minimum. I like to do 750,000 because I don't, I'm not trying to convince myself to get into a trade. So 500,000 is the bare minimum. I do like 750,000. Don't go under 500,000, as the stocks are much easier to manipulate for larger stakeholders or larger shareholders. Okay, let's try this PROG. Okay, it's up 22%. 87 million shares. So that's good. That's promising. Here's the few downsides I see to this guy. When I look at this chart, we've already had a really strong run here from like 50, 60 cents or so, all the way up to $5, upper $4 area, $5 area. So, and then it's gapping up another 22% on top of that. Right, we can see that number right here. So the thing that kind of worries me about this one, it's already had a heck of a move. It's gapping up a large percentage again. Let's look at maybe the weekly, see what the weekly can tell us. So yeah, I mean, we're getting back up into this area. So, and this looks like it's kind of like a resistance type area. Like there's some consolidation here. And since we're already up big time, I can imagine this would probably work as a fade. But I don't. This is kind of like on the bubble for me. It meets volume, but it's also a price thing that I don't like trading things under $10. Okay, just don't. And not everybody has the same rule. I just prefer not to trade things under $10. It is what it is. But I mean, outside of that, there's still things we can learn about this. Obviously, it's kind of coming up into what looked like be a resistance area. It's already had a strong run. The candle from the previous day was a gap up on monstrous volume. I mean, that is huge volume, right? I mean, there's only been a few times where it's had that much volume. So that means there's a lot of people already into here, bullish or long, or they've bought already. So they might look at this gap up as a time to maybe just take some short-term profits, and it probably just comes back down before it goes higher. So that's kind of what I'm looking at there. I'm not super excited about that, but that was a very strong move for the past few months there. Okay, so here we go. GOEV. GOEV. Ooh, man, another long bar, bullish candle, huge volume from yesterday, right to a resistance area. Like you see, it was support back here, boom, kind of into this area, and then here, and then it got below it, right? And we kind of paused here for a few days, and then got below it on earnings, and then old support became new resistance, hits that, it's come back down. So my kind of estimation, so we've already had a little bit of a bullish trend here, and then we had a massive bullish candle yesterday. So on this one, I would say it'd probably be more suited for a bearish fade. That would be my assumptions here. Okay, and really, like old school volume, or old school is really illiquid and stuff. What is this company? Consumer Durables Motor Vehicles. Canoe. I do not know it. And I really can say that. So that's kind of the way I would look to, maybe do this one. Let's look at what the morning chart is. Yeah, I think this would be a good, we might, you know what? I'm going to add this to the list. I'm going to add GOV to day trade list. We might look to maybe set up a bearish fade on this one just because it has moved up so strong. And even pre-market, it had moved up strong and then it got crushed right here. Just a lot of volume dump. So might look to set something up than that, but we're just looking at gaps right now. Let's see what is out there. Excuse me, VIR. All right. So it's kind of coming right into some resistance, right? And we got the long-term resistance like right here, like this kind of support area, and then got below it here. So it's just kind of coming back to refill this gap that it gapped down on earnings. And it does barely meet my my volume requirements of 750,000 right there. So I'm not really, it's just not that clean to me. It might do one of those, maybe like abandoned babies, an abandoned baby or type situations is where the market kind of gaps down, puts in some candles or a candle, and then gaps back up and leaves all that cluster kind of by itself. That's not a perfect abandoned baby because it's still kind of interconnected with like this low back here, but it's one that this could definitely push up out of here as it's kind of gapping right at that supportive resistance level. But I don't know which way it would go, so I'm just going to pass on it. But that's just what I'm looking at, just a bunch of this resistance all along here, and then it's kind of gapping right to that level. So whichever way it goes out the gate is the way it's going to go. A VIM, look at that one. VIM. First thing, volume super low, so this one ain't gonna happen, and it's well under $5. So we'll just keep on going. Why did that even pop up on the list? Oh, it's ZIM. That's why. It's not. Oh, it's ZIM. It's like, man, that is not matching what bar chart was saying. Okay. So yeah, volume's good. We got nice little like basing pattern right here recently, gapping up. This is a retest gap on earnings. So we had pretty good volume yesterday. So this would be a good bullish retest gap. That's what this looks like. A bullish retest gap. It's gapping up. Pretty good volume. Not like this kind of volume, but it's a pretty good volume day yesterday. And So I mean, this could be a really good. Let's look at the morning. Looks pretty good. It's got to get above this pivot right here, and so that's something to watch. Let's look at the. All right, so let me go to our. So what was that pivot back over here? Was that it? Yeah, that was it. So 55.50 right here was the high here. What? And this morning, so this could be one that's good. I kind of like it. We'll look at this just to kind of monitor and into the open. Heads into day trades, DIM. Okay, so we got those two over there. Everything else above NIHK, don't worry about. It's just stuff I look at. Just stuff I'm kind of just monitoring. This stock might take a little bit out the gate because there was a lot of people bullish already from yesterday, so they might close out on early in the morning. But it could be one of those that kind of takes off relatively quickly, like maybe like 15 to 30 minutes into the open. It might take off, but it's going to be one of those where it's got to, like, as it pulls back, it needs to have a bullish candle like for 5 minutes over the previous bearish 5-minute candle, something like that, to where it says like, okay, we are now starting a new direction. LZB Lazy Boy. How many of you guys out there in Lazy Boys right now? Oh, my buddy Daniel is. Okay. Nice bearish rounding bottom here. This is very nice. So I would, yeah, I mean, this could be a good setup for a swing trade for you swing traders out there. And it might not go today because you've already had a nice little run up here. Good volume from yesterday, gapping up. So this might fade down. Try to come back down into this 38.50 area before it starts pushing higher. That's kind of the way I would look to play this on a daily. So I do dig. Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. So I definitely, yeah. I mean, we had old school resistance back here. Got above it. Actually hits and then hit support and then came back through it. Kind of got back to that resistance area again. Now it's gapping up. But for the past like 2 weeks, and even for the first part of this week, it was been strong. So I would imagine profit takers probably come in the morning before you can go long, maybe in the 38 to 38.50 area before it starts pushing higher. That would be the way I would look to play this. This would be a good one to add to a swing trade type list. I don't know how much of a move it would do today. I'd imagine you'd probably get some pullback over the next few days to maybe a couple of weeks, depending on how long that takes. But I would look to take that bullish over a given period of time for a swing trade. I would just look for a nice setup on a pullback. Yeah. Better Therapeutics, BTTX. BTTX. I don't know what's going on with this thing. This thing looks wonky. Man. I ain't touching this thing. That thing looks jacked up. Alright. BCT. Was that PCT? Yeah, PCT. PCT. Ooh, okay. So we had a long kind of consolidation here, and then it broke down. Now it's getting bought back up. The thing that bothers me with this one is we had a move down lower, and now we have come back up into that previous like support area. So I'm not really sure where this goes. This is probably one that's getting to a zone where it's probably going to go sideways. It's going to be really hard to really know which direction it's gonna go. Like I said, if it ain't clear right away, don't trade it. So it's just one of those that I might chop around here before maybe breaking down again or going higher. It's, you know what, that's actually not a bad one to maybe say it goes higher. Maybe in the future, but I have no I have no take on that this morning. TJX companies gapping up 5.2%. Wow. Okay, this is like a discount retailer for those that don't know. It's like TJ Maxx. I forgot how many companies fall under the TJ Maxx type brand or TJX. Let's see. I do kind of like some of this. That's a pretty good volume yesterday. It's definitely an earnings gap. Not quite gap into an all-time high, but and this is this is what it's doing this morning. So it had earnings this morning. That's why you're seeing all this rise this morning. This actually could be one worth watching as for a retest gap, as it kind of just kind of maybe floats down and then pushes higher and it actually goes to an all-time high. Actually, might not be a bad one for that at all. And what you do have is inverted head and shoulders here, actually. Here's this. Oh, yeah, I wouldn't go long then. So you got shoulder, neck, head, neck, shoulder, breaking out. I would look for a pullback retest into the $72 area, under $73, but probably down to the $72 area for a swing trade long. That's how I would look at this. Yeah, that's how I'd look at it. I wouldn't play that specifically for today. It's just getting too close to all-time high. People are going to come in and sell that. And then, yeah. Okay, let's go look at some bearish gaps. All right, so we can see we got a lot of prices under so we're not going to worry about those. Under my minimum. So Arrival, ARVL. Now, the reason why I'm kind of just showing you all this for like the first 30 minutes, because I'm trying to do it uncut. I don't know, maybe I swear at some point and I cut it out. But I'm trying to leave this as much uncut as possible. Just that way you kind of get a sense for how long it kind of takes to do your little bit of research in the morning, kind of get things going. It goes pretty quick, man. It goes quick. I can't believe it's already like 8:20. I'm not seeing anything that we want to be in like out the gate, like immediately as soon as the market opens. So it's fine. You know, if we do research a little bit past the market open, it's okay. Turn down my volume. Trying to get in. I don't really dig this gap much. It was kind of already had a big gap down here on big volume. It's kind of coming into this lower area down here. I'm not super in love with this gap. So I'd actually, if anything, I'd look for that to be like a bullish fade. Because, I mean, you already had a few days here of bearish selling and then a huge candle here with huge volume on earnings. So I don't know why it's gapping down today if it already had earnings on a gap down. Gap down on earnings. StoneCo. Let's look at StoneCo. STNE. Ooh. Okay, Lucy. Let's see you. So this is very interesting. Packaged software type. looking technology services, package software. So it definitely has trading. The thing I like, oh man, I like a lot of things about this gap, baby. All right. Okay, it's starting to maybe get down to some previous support areas, cluttered areas. The thing man, so my take here, we have a longer term selling trend here. We have a long term selling trend all the way back to like February. It's just kind of like been in this downtrend. And even before this week, really, it was just down. It was just getting hammered like just every day for like almost 2 weeks. So, but it had rising bullish volume over the past 3 trading sessions. And then it's gapping down. If it would have been gapping like right below this pivot point, that would be fantastic. But the fact that it's gapping down like an additional $1.50 below that, a point and a half below that is, man, that is, oh yeah, dude, if it would just hung out like right there, that would have been so good. I really don't know, because you got some longer term people that have already been selling this thing, and then but you have the short term, so it could kind of go either way. Yeah, I mean that was looking pretty good there for a sec, but nah, I'm gonna pass on that. It's just not super clear. I do really like that's kind of stuff you'd look for recent day action, but this longer term, like people have been selling this down for so long. I don't know. I mean, you might. What probably happens on this stock is you get some quick selling, because there's people that are probably buying this dip. It's getting below this recent pivot, so you probably get some quick selling right out the gate in the morning and stop. And the reason why those pivots are important like that is that's where people will have stop losses. Like if people were getting in bullish here, well, that's probably where you're going to have your stop loss, right? So if you get under that, well, they're kind of trapped, and now their stop losses are getting triggered, forcing them to sell and close out. So that's kind of what I'm looking at, and people might already just be doing that this morning, as whatever news came out yesterday after market is just kind of forcing it down. So looks like earnings, but I thought I already had earnings like a couple days before. Nope, that was earnings. Yeah, that was earnings. Okay, so that's kind of interesting, but keep it moving. DLO. Ooh, that is a monster. Oh, that's way more of a gap than what. Has it been moving this morning? It has been moving this morning a little bit, not as much as what bar chart says. Okay. So this is the daily, and if I just looking at this, so we've had some selling that have come in here over the past couple months, just selling down, sell. And this gap down being this big, if I was to think of any way to play this, I would play this as a bullish fade back up. I mean, you've had a few months of selling here. So there's definitely some people that are probably already in short, and they're going to look on this kind of gap where you're down 15.5%. Yeah, they're going to look to take profits, and probably gets back up at least to 43, maybe even a little bit higher. But it might be one that pushes up and then rolls over towards the end of the day, second half of the day. It might roll back over. Yeah, I would definitely look to play this as a bullish fade to where it goes up. Let's see what the... yeah. Tell you what, I'm going to add that to the watch list. All right, DLO. What else we got? SEMR. SEMR. Oh, I didn't. Hold on. What was the volume on DLO? Yeah, we're good. SEMR. Yeah, we got a little bit of a gap down. So that might be a flick. You know, we see a lot more activity down here. That might be like a little flick up. Actually, no, that looks like it's legit. Actually, what the? See, this is why trading. Oh, well, yeah, that's why. It doesn't meet volume. It's just going to flick around, especially pre-market. So, yeah, don't worry about stuff like that because it's just so easy to move it around, manipulate it. That's why you want to stay away from that stuff. So, Penske Auto Group, I know they'll have volume. PAG. Oh, they do not. Even though you've heard of them, they don't have that much volume. Okay. Nope. Moving on. ANDX. Wait, what? That was it, right? Oh, AVD. AVDX. So if you just heard the ding, 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 that was the market open AVDX, right? Yeah, there it is. And yeah, I wouldn't look to take this. I wouldn't look to take that gap. No, it's on earnings, but strong gap down. It's not really gapping below anything. It's also, this is a recent IPO. I don't trade like recent IPOs. I like stuff that's predictable, and IPOs are not predictable. What else we got? Cato. Let's check out Cato. One thing I do like about this, so the market is open, it's trading. It got above this resistance here, and it is now just coming down into it. And to be pretty honest with how fast that is flushing down this morning, I would actually say this would be a good one for a swing type trade, to where it's coming down into this previous resistance. And I would actually say 18, which is almost there, 18 by maybe something like by this pivot. That's super low volume. I was like, man, that just jumped 50 cents. Okay, yeah, because of super low volume. That's why you don't do super low volume stuff, man. It's just super easy to jump to different price levels and manipulate and stuff like that. So yeah, stay away from stuff like that. All right, trying to find another bearish one to look at. Okay, let's go look at Target. Yep, that'll have plenty of volume. Let's go look at Target. Okay. So Target actually made a run. It looks like they just hit an all-time high like 2 days ago, two trading sessions ago. My charts would load. Okay, so you've had like 7 bullish candles in a row, green candles in a row here. It is an earnings gap. They are gapping down on earnings. The thing I don't like about it is it didn't clear this pivot. If it cleared this bottom area here, it might be tempting. You know, it's one of those that you just set up a trigger or an alert. If it got below that, what's that low? It's 20 or 252.03. If it got below that 252.03, you can maybe look to take this short, but even then you're gonna have the 50 and the 100 right below that. So it's just not really a play for me. Since it didn't clear that, I don't really know if it actually goes bearish or not. They surprised on earnings and revenue, so don't know why they're gapping down. I might have said something about supply chain issues like everybody else. It looks like it's going to be pretty strong, and yeah, might be just strong. Okay, so let's go back to the three that we noted, and let's just kind of wash those. So I did say that this one probably would be a bearish fade. Okay, and it looks like that might be the case here. And to be pretty honest, a pretty decent setup might be something like that by something like that. Something like that. Oh, come on. So, trigger. Stop. Right. I mean, that's not a bad setup there. And that's like 50 cents, basically. So then you need to get down to about 10.50. Hold on. 50. Yeah, about 10.55-ish. Something like that. Target. Yeah, so that's kind of like a setup that you would maybe look to do. It'd be something about that. Let's look and see. Oh man, look at that. So I mean that would be the setup. Boom. And then 2R would be pretty much all the way back down to fill the gap at yesterday's high. That's kind of funny. Didn't even mean for it to set up like that, but yep, sure enough, that's about where it closed. Yesterday's high. So that's kind of the way you look to set it up. I know some people that'd be a little bit less aggressive, maybe even put the stop up here. But I like it kind of right here. It's less risky to go up here, but it's okay. It's kind of the way you'd make the 2R target kind of fill in before it got back to yesterday's high. This might be something that works like most of the day. All right, so let's go look at ZM. Now, I'll tell you what. So let's say I got triggered in there. I do kind of like this trade. Let's say I got triggered in there. ZM. What were you thinking? What were we thinking here? Well, it doesn't matter. It's coming down. I don't think I was super bullish. I can't remember what I was thinking, but if I remember correctly, I think I was wanting it to come back down for a swing trade before you took it higher. But I did like this basing pattern. I do remember that. I do like that basing pattern. Which a good swing trade would be 51.20-ish or so, something like right in that area, and a stop down here. I look for a continuation up, definitely. DLO. Okay, so I did say right out the gate you might look for a lot of selling to come in before it gets bought back up, and I think that was it. I think that was it. A lot of people got their stops kind of close. Oh, is that one? Oh, that was a different one. I was thinking it would come back up into this area, this 43 area, before maybe rolling back down. Just because I remember this longer trend here, I was thinking it would come back up and roll back down. Yeah. I do still actually think that, especially since you actually had a larger volume day yesterday, which is probably why it flushed out like almost immediately. It just flushed. I do think it probably will wind up going bullish, probably for a good part of the day. That would be my plan now. You got that super fast flush out of everybody that's been long the past couple of days, and I would put in an entry just above these two candles, put in an entry here, stop somewhere down here. That just makes 2R kind of far. I really kind of think after you saw this candle come in, this one long bar up, I think that was the one. You wanted to be in above that one. So you'd actually take these wicks, since it pushed above that so hard, you'd probably get in there and you might have got triggered in here because it barely kind of come down just above that. Yeah, you'd want to be in like here with a stop down here. That'd be how I would have played that. That was the 1 minute that mattered. That was the 1 minute that mattered here. I mean, it's going to be choppy, no doubt about this going back up. But, you know, it is what it is. What are you doing? And man, if you wanted this as a swing trade, that was pretty much it. It was filling you right there. Which, yeah, there's going to be some buyers right in that area. That's going to be tough to short anymore. And I wouldn't be looking to go, I wouldn't look to short that anymore. I think most of the selling's probably done. I don't know how much it'll go back up for the day, but that was probably a really good swing trade setup. Right back down into some of the previous like resistance that it had. Got above that, come back, checked, even checked into like the moving averages right here. Right, come back and checked in the moving averages, and it's already going back up. Yeah, I think that's going to be the play here. But okay, I think the ZIM would be bullish from here. Maybe not screaming bullish here for the rest of the day, but I don't think it's bearish by any means. DLO still pushing higher. Man, if it breaks this 1 minute this first open minute, it's gonna really start climbing. And then GOEV. Let's look and see how this sucker is doing. Oh, okay, so it actually pushed up quite a bit higher a few minutes later. And it is one of these that if you were playing this, you're gonna be real cautious with how far of a bullish type buying came in right there. And since we are here to protect losses, I would copy that and paste. And I have no clue where that just pasted. Clone, thank you. But I put it right above that pivot. That's like if you were in this trade, if you were in this kind of trade setup, I would move my stop to right there. And I would potentially mark it out if it looks like it's, because the thing is, like, this was so strong. If it comes back down here and just retests and then curls and goes back up, well, I don't want it to get back up there. I might just mark it out here, but you gotta give it some time. If you can get like a solid candle down and break that low, I don't think it would be a problem anymore. And then hopefully you just move your stop down to where it's below your trigger, so that way you don't have to worry about getting stopped out for a loss, that kind of thing. And there you go. So like that might be the 1 minute candle we were kind of looking for. So if we can get a follow-on candle, we can get below that and get a flush. Let me get auto off. So yeah, if we can get a flush down here, a retest back into 1120, because that was the previous support right there. Which there you go. So if we can come back down here and then retest into 1120 and then roll over, that'd be fantastic. Now it might have just wicked down and found a lot of buyers that were sitting just below that spot. So we shall see, but I don't really know if I like that. I don't really know if I like that anymore. I think that was a little too much aggressive buying right there, the low. See volume coming in. And since we are here to not lose money, I would actually, let's see. Okay, it didn't overtake that candle, but I would mark it out. That's a strong volume right there. That's a strong volume candle right at the low, the previous low, broke that low, and it has come back. I think that was it. You almost could say you would have marked it out for a small profit, or maybe about break even. But yeah, there's no reason to have that risk on when it broke the previous low. It was basically a trap. There was a lot of buyers that were sitting in there. And you could definitely stay in. Not saying you had to get out, but it's a lot of volume that comes in at a previous low. It will wick down there from pretty far. Like if it would have chopped down and then broke down, and maybe if it would have came down and just kind of swung around here and then wicked down and came back up, I wouldn't have thought much of it. But the fact that it kind of did that from a little bit far away and then wicked down. See, what's ZM doing? ZIM. This is why you turn auto on. Yeah, dude, that was it, man. Dude, that was it on this one. You would have set that up for a swing trade. My gosh, that takes forever. If you would have set that up for a swing trade, look at that. It come down, you would have got triggered in. Your stop was down here, and you're already making money. Like that was the play on ZIM. Yeah. DLO is still pushing higher. It's getting back up into that area. It might chop around here for a couple minutes. I would imagine it probably just pushes higher. But if you would have got in down here, you're just kind of trailing your stop. Maybe it's like right here now, so that hopefully you're in the money, or it's about where you got triggered in at. So 36 by 37.25 by 36. So it's $1. Right? Was that 30? Yeah, you could have made it 36. $1.25. So $1.25, that'd be 38.50 would be 1 hour. 38.50 and then 39.75. $39.75. Right there is 2 hours. Pretty much at the high of the candle. Or the trading session. Right there. Make sure you know how much your risk per trade or what your R is. And if you are not sure, click on the video in the top left. Alrighty. Take care, Alpha Hunters.